Hello, my name is Omar Rampersad. It is Saturday, December 8th, 2018 at 4:01 p.m. in Toronto. So I tweeted a bunch of tweets today, and it's in relation to what I'm suspecting experiments being carried out on me. Now, I posted a bunch of videos experimenting with this detector, which just went off. And here's another experiment. I put my hand over it, and the alarm goes off. And it goes over the capacity of the meter to read it, to read, to get a reading, I should say. So, let's do the other one. And I'm suspecting my hands are tagged, um, but that's about the detector. But as I was saying, and I'm going to hold this up here as I talk. As I was saying, I posted a bunch of videos talking about this detector and some experiments I ran. And I talked before in other videos about being flagged and being illegally surveilled. And I get comments outside the window and in the workplaces and in the public places like the bus, the trains, and so on about certain parts of my body being tagged. I heard Ranty had my ankle tagged. I heard Rick had my knee tagged. I heard somebody in this building had my eyes tagged. I heard somebody in the workplace had my back tagged, my lungs, my heart, and so on. So, um, after doing some research, I realized that to be tagged, you'd have to have some sort of a microwave radiation technology if it was being done remotely. So I got myself a very cheap, under $35. I think I paid about 35 with tax. Microwave detector, and it's a microwave leakage detector meant to use around your microwave, I suppose, but of course could be used around anything else. I tested this around my internet modem, and the alarm went berserk, and I'll post that video soon. I just wanted to see whether it did what it was supposed to do, and it did. It did work. So it's interesting that after doing that test, from the videos I posted, that I get the same alarm, and my video just disappeared, and a picture on my screen just disappeared on me. Not quite sure what's going on. Maybe the voice was maybe the voice was interrupted. I'm not quite sure. But I'm going to continue talking for a little while, and if the voice is gone, then I'll have to redo it. So anyway, so let me. What was I saying? So the videos that I posted um, was consistent with tracking um, by having various parts of the body tagged. So when I put this detector on the parts of the body that I was harassed about, um, that was tagged in the harassing comments I got. As part of this experiment, this ongoing experiment that's being run on me, I got a reading that says over limit, OL. So it went over the capacity of the detector to pick it up, to give a reading, excuse me. It's picking it up, it's so high. This device is not calibrated to go reading wise go that high. So it just tells you it's over the limit, which is it means it's very high. In this device, over 5, rating being 0 to 10, over 5 is considered to be a danger zone. So over limit is over 10. So the test that I ran on myself was consistent with the harassing comments I got about various parts of my body being tagged. And it's very interesting that when the ankle is tagged, it's exactly the same spot that I get a high reading, and in the same spot is swollen and sore. Sometimes my entire foot is tagged, and my entire foot is sore. Sometimes the calf of the calf muscle, um, from the ankle to the knee, is tagged, and it gets really, really sore. The same thing goes for my chest cavity, back, ear. I demonstrated one of the videos in which my ear was tagged. I get earaches very frequently. And since I got this a few days ago, every time I get an earache, which comes and goes, it disappears minutes, seconds. As soon as the alarm goes off, the piercing earache goes away, although it remains sore for a while after that, sometimes days. It depends on how high the alarm is, how high the reading is, the intensity and the power with which you're hit and tagged. So, there's a consistency there, and it's this discovery of mine is consistent with the comment I heard that I have no privacy. Of course, I have no privacy because I'm being tracked inside of my home. In order to hit me with a remote beam that this device picks up, you'd have to be tracked and imaged, so you have no privacy. And I get hit in the bathroom all the time. I get hit on the toes. I get hit on the knees in the bathtub. I get hit in the eyes. I get hit in the genital area when I go to the toilet. So there is no privacy. And I suspect that the images that's on the person's computer who's doing these remote assaults are recording my every move. And surprisingly enough, I get the same sensations in the workplace. So I'm also being tracked in the workplace, which is also consistent with the harassment I have experienced in the workplace for the last at least 10 years that I remember. I'm sure it went on before, but it wasn't as open as it is now. So that's this about this detection device. So let me talk a little bit about triggers. So I tweeted about triggers in the workplace as part of being experimented on in the workplace. So of course I'm on the YouTube and I talk about this. And I mentioned Rohini Besasa's claim that she was being experimented on. And I suspect, I believe that she is telling the truth, that she was being experimented on. There are elements of experimentation that has to be present. There are elements in the person's life that has to be present to point to the possibility of being experimented on. And so that is 24-hour surveillance, which this is proving. Because in order to run experiments on somebody, you have to have 24-hour surveillance on them. You have to be recording them. So the person who has my image on the computer is recording me 24/7. You have to have feedback. So you have to, when you run the test, you have to have feedback. So you have to be able to record the person. You have to be tested. So tests are run on you all the time. So in my case, I get harassed all the time about the tests that's being run. For instance, I'd be triggered, intentionally triggered by a remark, "You're a effing whore," and that's a test. It's just to see how you're going to react, how much control you have, and it also, if you do react, the reaction is recorded and used to prove that you're mentally ill. So it's a trap. It's a test and a trap. It's a process of continuous entrapment, because after running tests on you, the idea is that disposal is necessary because you're scrap, quote unquote, because you're so broken and you're so health-wise and emotionally broken and marked up that you're not wanted in society anymore, and you're so degraded and dehumanized that nobody wants you around. So you have to be disposed of, and this is exactly what I think Rohini Besasa experience was. I think she was passed around, experimented on, as she was claiming, and in the end, she was disposed of. Um, Now, in my case, I believe I'm in the disposal stage because I keep on hearing that there's nothing left to salvage. I'm all used up. So let me just address that. And my computer is frozen again, and the camera is frozen again. Just came back. So let me address very briefly about being disposed of. Um, the idea is that you're not a human being, you're a guinea pig, and everybody knows everything about you, and you're completely open, and you're looked down upon, and you're servile because everybody can log into you, anybody can log into you, anybody can hit you with a microwave a microwave based technology that disproves. And you're sold and you're bought and you're traded. You're not no longer a human being because the community has dehumanized you. So let's not talk about all the laws that's broken by doing that. Let's talk about being dehumanized and you're not a person anymore, a human being. The part of this program is to make you internalize the the ideas that are talked about around you. So the imprinting part of the experiment is imprinting the idea that you're helpless and you're dehumanized and you're mentally retarded and whatever else they're trying to make you think of yourself. You have to internalize that. That's the part of the experiment. The minute you internalize it, then of course you're dehumanized. In my case, I am somehow able to figure out the experiments, and instead of allowing it to dehumanize and degrade me, I can see through what's going on and realize that it's really dehumanizing and degrading the group and the team of people who are doing it because they are actually breaking a lot of laws, not only legal laws, physical laws of nature, moral laws, human rights laws, on basic internal human beliefs about what a human being should do and say. Your internal moral values. These people obviously don't have any. So I'm not going to be degraded by what they do and say. I don't identify with my body anymore because I've come to realize from my observation of where technology is headed and where we're at right now, that our bodies are just like a computer. And just like the phones are being synced with one another, our bodies are going to be in sync with one another. And signals and messages are going to be transmitted body to body, just like phone to phone, brain to brain communication. So everybody is going to be open to everybody else. That's where the technology is headed. And if people study the Eastern philosophy, you'll understand that that was always the case. We are always connected. We were always connected, brain to brain and mind to mind, on a higher level. So the people who are trying to degrade and dehumanize, obviously not on that level, to understand what's going on. They're just being used. So I'm not going to internalize what's being done to me to dehumanize me. I'm not dehumanized. Also, I want to talk about triggers, and this is going to be a long talk. Triggers that's in my workplace. These triggers, the words that are used. For instance, we're going to have you picked up. We have an open ticket. You're an effing whore. You F yourself. Stop effing yourself. You're common. The constable name is going to pick you up. This is the cop who's working with the worker in this building. And he gets reports and calls from people in the building about me that's out and out, about things that's out and out lies. And is flagging me based on these lies without giving due process for more than 10 years. So that's his name is a trigger because I hear it all the time. He's doing it. This person is doing it. This person is flagging. This person is dirty. This person is trafficking. So he became a trigger. And these triggers are in the workplace. So why would they be in the workplace? Well, because the reports are in the workplace. So my question is, if a company knows that they need to make a report about me or reports about me, and I'm flagged, and I was charged with a crime that I did not commit, and I was pulled in under the Mental Health Act that found nothing, and they know all of this and have this file about me that states all of this. Why are they hiring me in the first place? Why are they hiring me in the first place? And number two, why are the triggers in the workplace? And number three, why are they calling the cops on me if they do? And number four, why are they making reports about me? Number five, why are they flagging me? Number six, why are they getting the contract to surveil? So back to the first question, why did they hire me? Are they taking part in the experiment? Are they taking part in the experiment to degrade me, to artificially criminalize me, to have me charged, and to have me mentally committed? Why did they hire me in the first place? If the cops are involved in the process of hiring, why did they hire me? Obviously, none of this has been disclosed to me. My family never disclosed whatever the family did. I'm being harassed with the family committing fraud, the family being the brother, the dead brother, deceased brother, I should say, committed fraud, signed his name on a document, put my asset in a trust, and gave it to his son, bestowed it to his son. He had to take everything away from me. He had to make sure that this is part of this program. He had to make sure that I own nothing, because I am supposed to be a slave, a sex slave and labor slave as well, apparently. I go where I'm needed. So this is what the brother did, and in order to have that not come up to the surface, he has to take steps. Well, I mean, he's deceased, but he has to have people who's working with him or worked with him in the past have to get me mentally committed to cover up what he did. And so all the other monitors, quote unquote, who, monitors, these are actually criminals who are illegally surveilling me. They break laws, and in order to cover what they did, they have to have me mentally committed or criminalized, get me out of the way to cover what they did. So every monitor comes after me. Every monitor comes gunning for me, I heard. So this way I'm being lynched, smoked out. As you can tell, I'm running. Talk to you another time.